Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience while you were waiting for the commentary. If you haven't seen the Discord announcement, there was a minute silent for the first minute of qualifying in memory of the passing of Sir Frank Williams, which was announced a couple of hours ago. Very dark day for motorsports, to say the least, but we continue on and remember his legacy. Welcome along then to round 13 for the Japanese Grand Prix. We have a lot to cover, for sure, regarding the last race. Last week we raced in Monza, and what was found after the race, I think it was found during the race, was the damage had been switched off. Now the stewards have decided that they will be awarding half points for that. So as a result, that means that Victor, the current championship leader, has a lead in the championship by 17.5 points from Fallen Monkeys, with Michael Fures a few points behind. So a lot to play for in this championship fight between those three. We are on board then with Greenwell Armies, the first out in this 18-minute qualifying session in the Williams car. We're back on another iconic track. We've gone from Silverstone a fortnight ago to Monza and now to Suzuka. A very difficult track, one you have to get absolutely perfect. I quite like these circuits. They punish any little mistake. As you can see, the runoff there is not quite so nice. So it really does punish you if you get things wrong here. Greenwell Army's done. Going through the two Degners and now into the tricky 180-degree hairpin. As RPM Westy for AlphaTauri gets out of the way. Traffic might be a bit of an awkward thing in this session, but for Greenwell, looks like there's not much traffic there. The Ferrari ahead of Sprague probably will not be in the way, but it'll be Greenwell then who will set the first representative lap time. We've got majority of drivers on soft tyres. I think Mavericks try mediums. So we'll see what the comparison is between that time. We've already got a yellow flag. I think a Mercedes has had a moment in the S's. We'll work out which one that is in a moment. Here's Greenwell Army done. It's a 1:30.8 for the first lap time. So let's work out who that Mercedes was. I think it was that was Wild Dog. There is Dominic goes 2 tenths quicker for Alfa Romeo, which we keep an eye on. Maverick has retired, and I think they've just had a moment. Conceded by the pit lane, actually. There it is, and Mavericks hit the barrier quite unconventionally there. Here's the championship leader, Victor, in the Alpine. Alpine's been looking very strong at the moment, especially Victor. Victor's been on prime form this whole season. We'll see how the Alpine driver tackles their first flying lap. It's a little bit of understeer through the S's. Again, just a little heavy on turning, but again, this is a first lap, so they've got plenty of time to get another lap in. So we'll see where Victor's first sector looks like. We didn't actually see it, we might have missed it, apologies. The car moves into the middle of the track as they come through the very famous spoon hairpin. This fast sweeping two left-hand corners. Now down the back straight as they make the approach into 130R. Dominic goes another 2 tenths up on his lap and remains the quickest. Let's see where Victor can put the Alpine in comparison. So they're looking for a faster lap, and does so by 0.04 of a second to take provisional pole for the moment. Meanwhile, the other Alpine, he is testing out the medium tyres. See how much grip those have. A little bit hesitant on exit, but that's okay. We've got a... I think that is a Red Bull of Fallen Monkeys has retired as well somewhere. There's a yellow flag. That's for Westy. Westy gone a little too deep, maybe. Who knows? Let's go back on board with Hartmann. I'm just curious to see what this lap will be in comparison to their teammate. Try and get an idea of what the difference is between the soft and the medium tyres. Hartmann then through the final chicane. Doesn't take the shortest distance to the line. Goes slowest time at the moment, but roughly 2.6 seconds behind. Philip Marshall's also on medium tyres for the Haas. Let's see where Marshall can put their lap, or put their car, sorry, up into 7th for 131.9 for them. So, got 10 cars on the board. We've already got 2 drivers out of this race. Fallen Monkeys being a significant one. Remember, 3rd in the championship, as well as Maverick, who crashed out a little bit earlier on. I think we've lost another one, and that is Philip Marshall, I think. Now, where is that? That is on the S's again. And Philip Marshall becomes the 3rd driver out of this session. Huge shame for the Haas driver. Maybe struggled on those medium tyres. Hartmann's going quicker, just upped his time by another 0.6 of a second. So perhaps it needs just a 1 lap to get the temperature in. And then can push again. Once again, a huge up in the middle sector, 1.2 seconds. So this will be a pretty solid lap here, hopefully, for Hartmann. Not too bad there. DRS, the 1 DRS zone goes into 8th fastest. But still about a second behind his teammate. Let's watch MNE Nico for McLaren. Replacing, I think, Gravel Trap this weekend. Again, they're all struggling on that second S part. The car just a little too heavy. A bit hesitant, but still not too bad. Car looks very well balanced, it must be said. So good setup potentially for Nico here. Now through this 180-degree hairpin as the Alpine there. That will be Hartmann. There's a little slide. Gets out of the way. Now through the spoon section, or the spoon corners. Interesting there, Nico goes into the middle of the track, doesn't take the wider line, but every driver has their own preferences, so maybe might be a bit of a difference there. Someone's gone a little quicker. That would have been sinful doing their first lap of the session. 132.1 on those mediums. Nico then move through. Let's see where the McLaren can put themselves. Only 11th at the moment. Teammate Rusty Orkan up into 3rd, it seems. Let's keep an eye on Wild Dog. Wild Dog, a former winner, of course. All the way back in Azerbaijan, I believe. Very quick driver as well in this league as well. Definitely could be in contention for pole position. And come through the hairpin. Very tidy there so far for Wild Dog. Whitson is behind as well. Another quick driver to keep an eye on as well. Also a former Grand Prix winner this season. Now Wild Dog down the back straight into 130R. Handles very nicely. 2 corners left to go. But Wild Dog on the very last corner has invalidated. And all that good work, all for nothing really. Let's see what Whitson can do. Whitson goes into provisional pole by 0.03 of a second, so it's so close at the front. Dominic has not had a very good first sector at the moment, already down by 0.6, but I think just on a charged lap it seems. Greenwell hasn't improved. Spritzy, I don't think he's on a fast lap either. Sinful's done 2 laps on the mediums. Only a 1:32 for them. We've got just under 6 minutes to go. And so far it is Whitson who has provisional pole done, it would be said. Let's watch Rusty Oil Can then. Currently in 4th. It's actually very close between the top 4 actually. Only a tenth and a bit separates them. With the rest about 0.4 back. We've got a yellow flag somewhere, and I think that's for an Aston Martin. Is that for Michael Fierez on the outlap, or is that the Ferrari ahead as well? Not quite sure. Let's go back on board with the McLaren, who's a 10th up in the first sector. I think that yellow flag is for the Ferrari of Sprink there. Not ideal on their first hot lap. Oil Can then could be snatching that provisional pole time from Whitson at this point. Wild Dog has immediately come back out after invalidating. Needs a lap on the board at the moment. So Oil Can then takes the shortest distance. Doesn't improve, so all that time in the first sector kind of lost out a bit. Dominic has improved slightly in the middle sector. Victor's also starting a flying lap as well. Also take that provisional pole time back. So here we go. Dominic crosses the line and does claim that provisional pole time. 200ths again. So it's so close at the front, it must be said. Whitson confirming it's a dry race ahead, so thank you for that. Also no practice for Suzuka whatsoever, so very impressive then with that lap time. So we've got a dry race ahead, so no need to worry about inters or anything like that. Surveyper has decided that is enough. No time on the board for the Ferrari driver. Joins Fallen Monkeys and Maverick out of the session. See where Victor what Victor's middle sector looks like. Only 0.5 needed to take pole position back, and Victor's up by just under 0.3 of a second. Goran is out of the session as well, and I think that is in the S's, as Victor does reclaim that provisional pole time by 0.2 of a second. I think there has been an issue potentially with Sprink as well. Not sure. Let's watch Wild Dog as they come through. There was a car slightly in the way of an Alfa Romeo, goes second fastest. Now unless Wild Dog has got more, has Wild Dog got another lap of fuel in, because I don't think Wild Dog will have enough time to pit and come out for another lap. Furious is very adamant to go. Well, if Wild Dog did have another lap, they can't use it, they're out of this session. And I think Wild Dog has has crashed in the S's again. And I say again, I think that's how many retirements we had. I think we've had about 3 or 4 that have hit the barrier here in the S's, and that's another one gone. Luck 14 is another one that's gone as well. The 2 Hasses have crashed out. They didn't set a lap time either. That's huge frustrations there. Dominic, I don't think we'll get another lap in. Victor does improve significantly, a 1:29.7. That's a lot to ask for the rest of the field. Can Whitson do anything about that? Dominic is out of this session. 3rd fastest for the Alfa Romeo. You can see the Alfa's coming out, but it's way too late. Didn't time it properly there, I don't think. So Whitson's the closest driver that can challenge Victor for pole, but needs to find 0.6 of a second. That's a lot to do. Must be said, we've got yellow flags just about everywhere at the moment. I think a McLaren has gone, and that's Rusty Oil Can. Westy's retired. Nico's retired. There's not a lot of cars left. I think Whitson's the closest to challenge, and I missed the first sector improvement. So I don't know how much Whitson's improved. Greenwell Army and the sister Williams as well may try and challenge as well. Might need a full second to do that, but let's take pole position, so we'll see. Got another yellow flags. Yellow flags just appearing everywhere. We've got the checkered flag out now, so Whitson non-improving in that middle sector, lost a 10th there. This is not looking good for a chance for Whitson to take pole position. Unless this final sector is mighty here. Let's see where Whitson can put themselves. Not enough, remains 4th fastest. Greenwell Armies remains 6th. We've got a couple of drivers still left to do a lap. Michael Flores is on medium tyres. And will look to be starting in the top 10 on those, but a long way down the field. Currently 9th at the moment, unless Sinful can improve. Here's Spritzy. Cross the line, goes 6th fastest ahead of Greenwell Army. Flores has got traffic in the form of the Alpine. That won't have helped through 130R. That might have been, was that Victor maybe? Not sure. Flores then crosses the line. Moves up to 7th fastest. Not bad. 130.7. Only a second off, not too bad. And Sinful has not improved on this this final run, which means Victor convincingly takes pole position here at Suzuka by, almost half a second. So, incredible lap there by the Alpine driver. Wild Dog will remain in 2nd, despite crashing out. Not the cleanest weekend for Wild Dog, or cleanest session, sorry. But a 2nd place is a good starting point for the Belgian driver. We've got Dominic in 3rd, ahead of Whitson and Rusty Orkan. Everyone between 2nd all the way down to 7th was about half a second between each other. So as mentioned, Victor well clear of the remainder of the field. Wild Dog, who crashed out. Dominic, who came out a bit too late, ahead of Whitson. Rusty Orkan, Spritzy. Flores in 7th on medium tyres, so that'll be interesting to watch. Greenwell Army in 8th. Goran in 9th, ahead of Sprinks, rounding out the top 10. And then we've got Nico, Sinful, Hartman, Philip Marshall, and Westy, the 15 times that were posted. We lost Vapor, we lost Fallen Monkeys, we lost Luck 14, and we lost the Maverick as well, starting from 15th to 19th, respectively. But the big shocker there was definitely Fallen Monkeys. Of course, in that championship fight as well, and a lot of work to do for the Red Bull driver, especially with the championship leader taking pole. So as Whitson mentioned, this should be a dry race ahead, and it looks like it, but it is very cloudy, to be honest. So what will that have an effect on? That will certainly affect those who will start on the medium tyres. They might struggle to get temperature in at the start. Those on the softs might be pretty happy as well. The other benefit of being on having these cooler, less sunnier conditions, it means that tyre wear should slightly be a bit of a slight improvement as well. So we'll see how this all plays out at the end of this. Whitson confirming overcast to start, so presumably it means it'll get warmer and better conditions later on. Right, then away we go then for the formation lap. Let's see what tyres everywhere outside of the top 10 have started on. So as mentioned, top 10 starting on the soft tyres except for Michael Fures on the medium tyres, and the rest of them also opting for soft tyres except for Nico, Westy, Luck 14 and Maverick. They're on medium tyres to kick this off with. As Victor, that's not the start they would have wanted, and thankfully it's just the formation lap there, because Victor has spun on the into the S's, and Victor's been disqualified from the the formation lap, not from the actual session. It must be clarified. It's only the formation lap. So that is not the start that Victor would have wanted, because now they're going to be sitting on the grid with very cold tyres, and that could have a huge impact on Victor's race start at the moment. So now it's Wild Dog's turn to, basically control the pack as they all warm up their tyres. But I was going to come back to my point on Michael Fures. Michael Fures did 3 qualifying laps on medium tyres. So now my question will be for Michael is what will the tyre wear be looking like, and how will that impact Fures' race? Because obviously Fures will be expected to go long in those medium tyres. We'll have to see how long they can go. You can already see a huge gap from Rusty oil can down to... Is it Rusty oil can? Yeah. I think Spritzy's also had a spin as well. Victor's making their way well up the field, trying to make their way back to start this session. Oh no, apologies. Victor's disqualified, isn't he? Brain is half working. I saw an Alpine trying to make their way through. That would have been Hartman at the back. So Maverick then. Luck 14 will be the final car. Might have spun themselves, but we are ready and waiting for the lights here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Here we go. And away we go then for the Japanese Grand Prix. It looks like a decent start for Wild Dog, and this is the problem for Victor. Victor's getting disqualified from the session means Wild Dog has, and I think actually Victor's someone had contacts at the back, and that might have been, I thought it was an Alpine, but not quite sure. Someone had a spin round, but Wild Dog takes the lead of this race from FRL Dominiac. Whitson in third, and I think Victor's had a massive drop down into 6th place, but a lot to do at the start here. Spritzy up into 5th, Victor in 6th. Westy's already got a 3-second time penalty. Sprink in 8th, Goran in 9th, and Nico rounding out the top 10. Got yellow flags all over the place. We think Fallen Monkeys has had a moment as well, and Luck 14 has had a spin right at the start, so not a great start for the Haas driver. But Wild Dog is leading the field. The perfect start that Wild Dog needed. And we've already got a virtual safety car. Now, why has that been brought out? And I thought it was someone at the front, and that is Michael Fures, who started on the medium tyres, was looking to go long, but now has no front wing and will have to to pit at the end. As Westy also got damage. I think Westy's lost the front wing end plate. Hartman looks okay. So let's go through the order. Victor was the one who lost out massively. Michael Fury is the other big loser of that. Lost 9 positions at the start. Vapor up 4 positions, as is Philip Marshall. So not bad start for both of those. As we wait for this virtual safety car to end. Well, we won't know where it is, and we've got drivers in the pits. So Westy pits, Furious obviously pits, as does Sinful and Maverick also into the pits. So that's the nightmare for Aston Martin. I'll have to double stack there, and Maverick will be waiting for a very long time as the virtual safety car has ended. And I must admit, Domenic looked quicker off those reflexes. Vapor, I think, has got another time penalty. I think that's 6 seconds already on lap 2. But it's Wild Dog who leads, but the Alfa Romeo and the Williams very, very close behind. No DRS, of course, until the start of the 3rd lap. So all seems fairly calm for the minute after a very dramatic opening lap, and someone has had a spin, and that looks like RPM Westy. He's had a spin at the S's. The S is catching so many drivers out so far already. Poor Maverick a long way down the field. As you can watch here, this is Domenic very close to Wild Dog. Victor a huge way down the field in 6th. Almost under pressure actually from the Williams of Greenwell. So Victor hugely falling back. As Fallen Monkeys now is the one who sets the fastest lap of the race, but down in 14th, so won't get points for that. Wild Dog being pursued by the Alfa Romeo at the moment. And Whitson's not too far behind as well. Meanwhile, in the background, Spritzy is challenging. As we've got a yellow flag, as we saw Hartman then passing Vapor. I don't think there was much there happening. Vapor's got another penalty. The quickest 9 seconds in 3 laps is not something you want here. Now can Domenic catch and pass Wild Dog here? May not be down this back straight as they head into 130R. But I must admit, Domenic had a bit more controlled there. Wild Dog's gone deep into the final chicane. That's going to compromise his exit. And the Alfa Romeo driver want to pounce on that immediately. Whitson also going quickest as well. And Wild Dog defends the inside. Can Domenic go round the outside? And they make contact there, and Wild Dog is round. And Wild Dog, I would have thought that would have ended the race there, but Wild Dog returns on the field just ahead of Sprink, who gets a void on there, and Sprink gets hit as well. There was really no room for those two. 2 into 1 does not go. Should Wild Dog have given a bit more space there, maybe? I don't know, but Wild Dog finds himself down in 7th place. They were racing hard in start turn 1. We'll see what will happen with that. Furious now sets the fastest lap of this race. Vapor is the latest to pit onto the hard compound tyres. So now it's FRL Domenic who leads this race from Whitson. I think Wild Dogs have another moment. And this is in the hairpin now, losing more positions. Down to 9th, and now it'll be Philip Marshall and ISRL Hartman. They're going wheel to wheel first though, before they can try and catch Hartman. And Hartman round the outside of Spoons. Lovely move there from the Alpine driver. Moves into the top 10 and can now pursue Wild Dog. And meanwhile, this is Greenwell trying to pressurise Victor. Victor's gone backwards, and now he's Spritzy out of this race through 130R. Now, we got a safety car deployed. And did Greenwell complete that move before the yellow flags? I think so. Victor's pitted, as has Goran. This might be strategic call then for these two, but Victor's race going backwards really. Just been struggling for pace. But we've got a safety car deployed. That will benefit a number of drivers actually. Wild Dog pits. Philip Marshall pitted as well. But the top 6 have not pitted. So Victor will return out in 7th place. Drivers are making stops now. There's Fallen Monkeys stopping for medium tyres. But a very, very crazy first few laps, to say the least. And just to confirm the order, so it's Dominic who leads. Wild Dog, who was leading, contact into turn 1. I would like to see that replay again. Should Dominic have given more space? Should Wild Dog have backed out? 2 cars rarely go into that corner. So I'm sure that will go to the stewards. Maverick is back in the pits again. But at least that's beneficial for Maverick. Maverick can at least catch up with the pack again. Yeah, pretty spread out actually. Top 9 within each close to each other, but then the rest of the field trying to catch up. And we've got the safety car out because Spritzy crashed on the exit of 130R. So top 6 not pitted. That's Wild Dog having almost going onto the grass. Trying to warm up those medium tyres. The interesting one I think will be Sprink on the hard tyres. The only driver on them. Sprink technically doesn't need to stop again. I would presume those on the mediums down in the pit. And we've got more drivers in the pit, so Whitson pits, as does Rusty Oilcan, as does Greenwell Army, Hartman as well. The problem is because they've caught the safety car, they're going to lose much more time than those that have already pitted. So that's not ideal. The interesting one who didn't pit was the race leader, Dominiak, off those soft tyres. And it must be said, that safety car couldn't really have come at a worse time for the Alfa Romeo driver. Because when they pit, they're going to lose a lot of time. Westy's pitting as well. Alpha Tauri, although they've just picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So we are just waiting for this safety car to come in, which we assume will be the end of this lap. So if we're going at this moment actually, as Spritzy leaves the session after retiring, the technical net race leader, if the top 2 need to pit again, or sorry, they need to pit, they haven't made the mandatory stop, Victor will be the net race leader, interestingly enough. So Victor's gone backwards, but by pitting early, Victor's moved up into 3rd place actually, so that safety car couldn't have come at a better timing for the Alpine driver. So that's worked out really nicely. So, how long can those soft tyres go for Dominiak? I'll have to go a fair bit of a way because Dominiak will need to be making a lot of moves if they want to retake the lead of this race. Still the safety car is out, so it looks like we'll be going round for one more lap. Try and have a look at the penalties as well. So we've got 3 seconds worth of penalties for Wild Dog. Speaking of penalties, Sprinkers just earn themselves a 5-second penalty. They're going into the back of Hartman. And Vapor pits again. Now, what is Is that for front wing damage? Looks like it is. On goes a new front wing. Also on goes the soft compound tyres. And we'll drop right into last place. Be interesting that they're on the soft tyres. Looks like they're not going on to the end. Worth mentioning, by the way, ISRL Hartman and Greenwell Army also on the hard tyres, so they'll be going to the end very comfortably. But hopefully the safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap. I said that last lap, but I'm pretty sure it'll be this one. Hopefully we're not having a full safety car, a full race behind the safety car. That won't be too much fun. Should also mention Fallen Monkeys, actually. Fallen Monkeys is up into 9th after crashing in qualifying. This is not too bad, actually, behind their teammate, RPM Sinful. Although Sinful will probably have to stop again. Fallen Monkeys crucially ahead of Michael Furious. That's a good start. Trouble is, Victor's a bit further up in 3rd. Of course, they're fighting in the championship between the 3 of them. And now the safety car is indeed coming into the pits at the end of this lap. So Dominic will let the safety car peel away. And the Alfa Romeo driver will need to pick the moment to go here. Hasn't left a lot of space. And there goes the Alfa Romeo. And we are back racing once again. It is Dominic who leads then from Nico. Then comes Victor from Goran. And then Wild Dog, Philip Marshall, Luck 14 and 2 Hasses in 6th and 7th. Ahead of the 2 Red Bulls. And then Whitson rounding out the top 10. And we've got more contact in the back. That is Westy and Maverick. I think Vapor were they caught in that maybe? Not sure. And that is Philip Marshall getting ahead of Wild Dog, because Wild Dog's had another moment in the S's and losing positions rapidly, and has made contact with Fallen Monkeys as well. Or is it? No, that's Sinful. Apologies. Was a Red Bull. I couldn't work out which one it was, and that's just crazy between those two. I think that was intentional between Sinful and Wild Dog, and that's I reckon those two will be with the stewards. This is Greenwell Armies and Westy having a duel between each other. Westy gets a 5-second penalty for that collision as well, for good measure. But to me, I think Wild Dog and Sinful will have a very harsh penalty coming to both of them for that contact. That looked incredibly intentional to me from both of them. Victor then in 3rd, looking quite good at the moment, and we've actually got a safety car. Apologies, I'm very late on that. We've got yet another safety car as Dominic and Nico choose to pit, so they get basically a free pit stop. Trouble is, they're going to drop to the back of the field. So Victor now effectively will be the net race leader. But will be interesting to see. So then, back under a safety car. Vapor's back in the pits. Front wing damage. Westy's pitted again for hard tyres, getting rid of those soft tyres. So we've got another couple of laps behind the safety car. Can't remember if the safety car was on reduced or standard or not. If it's on reduced, then, well, wonder what the stewards will make of Wild Dog and Sinful of that. So we'll wait and see for the safety car. Got a couple more laps of the session. I think we've actually had more safety car laps than we actually have of racing laps. Or if so, we're at least equal on them. So we'll hope that this will be the second and last safety car, but we can't guarantee it on this track. Still got 18 laps worth of racing to go. Might be 17 at the end of this lap with the safety car. But Victor in a very prime position. Championship leader in first place. Lap 14 is in a very strong position as well. I'm in a fifth place. Lap 14, bearing in mind, has not yet pitted this lap. Oh, sorry, this race. So we'll need to make a mandatory pit stop. Currently up in fourth at the moment. These safety cars will certainly not be helping the Haas driver. As Victor seems to have dropped down the field. Now what's happened there to Victor? And Victor has crashed into the back, and that is... Now what's going on here? I think, has Victor had an issue? Or... So Victor, I think, has spun, is trying to work their way up the field. And Philip Marshall's not having it. Now what has happened there between those two? Yeah, so I think Victor's trying to make their way back up the field. Philip Marshall's left the session. Now, I'm wondering there, can Victor legally do that? Safety car is in this lap. So that would be Goran then who now leads this race. But Victor's own mistake has cost them the lead of this race, it seems. Goran now will lead the race for AlphaTauri. That's the safety car go. There goes Goran. And we are back underway with racing once again. It is the AlphaTauri of Goran who leads from Victor, from Philip Marshall. And there is... Well, that's a horrid camera angle there. But Whitson has got ahead of Fallen Monkeys for fifth place. Good stuff from there. And Whitson now already challenging through the S's. You don't often see a move through there. And Whitson thinks better of it. But Whitson already making moves up the field to take... to go through the field then. But it's Goran who leads then from Victor, from Philip Marshall. Philip Marshall looks like they've reconnected. Lap 14 under pressure from Whitson. And that, skating away there is a McLaren, I think, of that rusty oil can, who I think forgot to brake, as Maverick once again has lost a front wing as well. Fallen Monkeys watching close there as Whitson trying to find a way past the Haas of Lap 14. As they go through the spoon section, this is Philip Marshall trying to have a run on Victor here. But Goran having a great restart, has a 1.6 second advantage. Here comes Whitson. Almost wasn't left the room. We've got a safety car again. And that is for Rusty Orkan, who's retired from this race. And once again, we are back under safety car conditions. So, apologies for another 3 laps or so of of the safety car, but that's now a fourth retirement. We've lost Spritzy and Vapor, and also Furious back into the pits. And Vapor, I think, almost either trying to be cheeky and overtake Furious, or simply trying not to run to the back of the Aston Martin as they enter back into the pits. Bit of dust on the floorboard there of the Ferrari. Maverick's back in for a new front wing. Whitson's got a 5-second time penalty going into the back of Luck 14. Luck, remember, still hasn't pitted, so all these safety cars are actually hurting the Haas driver here. This really hasn't been... really has been an intriguing race, to say the least. Should mention we've lost both Mercedes. We lost Spritzy early on after crashing in 130 out. We lost Wild Dog and Sinful after some pretty dodgy, a pretty dodgy crash between the two, and we've lost Rusty Oil Can after first missing the braking zone in the first deck nut, and then crashing out later on that lap. As Whitson and Luck 14 look like they've exchanged places. Now what's happened there? Not sure what's going on at the moment, but I think, well, something's happened there. That is Maverick having problems and drops way down the order. Well, not down the order, but in terms of track space at the moment, almost half a lap down it looks like. Maverick's just coming through the middle, the second sector. The rest are about to end the final sector, so I'm going to catch up a little bit, to say the least. But not bad so far for Goran. Leading the race, I think, for the first time in this season. I could be wrong on that. As Whitson comes into the pits. And will they serve that 5-second time penalty? Answer is yes. So Whitson will drop down the order. And go another set of medium tyres, which should take Whitson to the end of this race. Should get ahead of Maverick. So yeah, we've had the majority of these laps under safety car now. We've had more safety car laps than racing laps, it seems. So Rusty Orcan now is the next one to leave the session, but of course they retired earlier on. Now what's happened here, this is RPM Westy, who's had a spin on the exit of the second deck nut. Drops down the field as well. Maverick's actually caught back up to the field as well, which is quite nice for them. Quite adventurous weekend for the Aston Martin driver and also for the AlphaTauri. One AlphaTauri rounds out the grid, or rounds out the field at the moment. The other one is leading it. They're all warming up their tyres because the safety car is in this lap. Might be called out again very quickly at this rate, so Goran for the second time will have to lead the pack away. And Victor, look at Victor. Victor very close. Wants to make sure they're well ahead. And Goran has gone. And so has Philip Marshall. Philip Marshall having already on the back of the Alpine. They go wheel to wheel down to turn one. The answer is no. It's not a corner you can really launch it. but a really good start then. Hartman has gone off the track. I think they're in a battle with Luck 14. So Vapor's up into 7th. I think we've had another moment, and that looks like MNE Nico this time around. And that's RPM Westy back up as well. Fallen Monkeys, I think, has had a moment as well. They've dropped down the order. But Goran leads this race, not by as comfortably as much as they did initially. And this is Luck 14, and Dominic go wheel to wheel in the second Degner, but Dominic gets ahead and up into 4th place ahead of the Haas driver, and now will be ISRL Hartman. He'll be trying, and this is the Vapor steaming down the inside and goes straight into the back of Luck 14. A little bit too late and a little bit apprehensive. They do get ahead of Hartman though, which is not bad, and now challenging Luck 14. Vapor really trying it as they go through the spoons. And just about, Luck 14 goes wide. Vapor trying to stick their nose in. They're still going for it between those two, and now it's a long battle down the back straight into 130 odd they'll go. And Luck is just ahead, but now they go through, and finally Vapor forces Luck 14 to yield that position, and Hartman goes well off the track there and almost slams into the Ferrari again. Bit unsafe return there. Luck 14 is back in the pits as well, so that might explain why they've got issues as well. But Goran leads this race by 1.2 seconds from Victor. Philip Marshall in 3rd. Dominic trying to catch them back up to 4th. Vapor in 5th. Furious is in 6th place, ahead of Whitson at the moment. 2 Williams 7th and 8th. Nico in 9th, and Maverick has found themselves, despite all those issues, is in the points, as a number of drivers have pitted. Furious gets a 3-second time penalty. This is Dominic now trying to have a go at Philip Marshall. Nothing about it. Dominic trying the switchback, not working, it seems. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that is... Who is that for? Not quite sure. This is Dominic round the outside. That's a good move there from Dominic round the outside of Spoons. Makes that work. And now Vapor will be trying their luck. The super move there by Dominic to move themselves into the podium places. And now this is Philip Marshall, still trying to come back here. Not quite enough to move, to make the move. And this is Vapor now on Philip Marshall. Vapor's about to snatch 4th place here. Looks like it down this back straight. Will they go wheel to wheel like Wild Dog and Dominic did? The answer is no. And Vapor moves up into 4th place. And we'll go and chase after the Alfa Romeo. Dominic trying to catch Dominic's next target is the Alpine of Victor. Michael Furious isn't making a lot of progress on those soft tyres. Whitson closing in on the Aston Martin. Dominic's on 4-lap fresher medium tyres compared to the 2 ahead. Whitson not close enough this time around. Here comes Dominic again. Went for the outside of Spoons last time around, and still going for the outside of Spoons there as Maverick is out of this race, and Dominic for a second time gets ahead as we've got a 4th safety car out. That's the 4th safety car. That was good timing then for Dominic. They just got ahead of Victor. Super little moves there from the Alfa Romeo. Won't be able to make a move just yet with this safety car out. But Maverick joins the other 5 drivers out of this race at the moment. As into the pits then comes Victor. And a number of drivers actually. Philip Marshall pits, Furious pits, Nico pits, Westy doesn't pit, apologies. Or hasn't got to the pits yet. On go the soft tyres. Furious has got another front wing adjustment to be made. those in the championship fight are struggling, it seems, to say the least. Westy indeed does pit, serving I think a 5-second time penalty. New front wing as well. 14 stays out. So Goran will have to lead this pack for a third time through the safety car period. Still got 11 laps worth of racing to go. It's just mostly been full of mostly being behind the safety car, to say the least. Really dramatic. We'll see what this Westy's got another 3-second time penalty. Bit of a struggle for the AlphaTauri, it seems. Wildog confirming it wasn't intentional. I didn't think it was, but when I saw it, the nature, the way the crash looked seemed dubious. But I know that the drivers here wouldn't do anything intentional, but ISRL Hartman has left the session, is also out of this race. I didn't catch that actually. It's the Alpine driver out of the session. So we will see what will happen in this race. We've lost 6 drivers already. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, 6 drivers out already. So we'll see. 13 drivers left then. Still got 9 laps worth of racing. Alright, so Wild Dog has confirmed that it wasn't an intentional crash. I didn't think, like I said, didn't think it was. It just looked very strange, the crash. But looks like Wild Dog confirming they did brake a little too late. So we'll see what will happen with that. But so the safety car come in at the end of this lap. We should mention penalties could play a factor still. Safety car will be out for one more lap, it looks like. Yeah, there's the penalties then. So Dominic has a 5-second time penalty, along with Vapor, who's still got 6 seconds of penalties. Furious has 3. Luck has 3 as well. Dominic almost runs into the back of the AlphaTauri. Then Westy's also got 6 seconds worth of penalties. Safety. Okay, so safety car has. Well, we're back underway. Apologies. I didn't see a message saying safety car is coming in. So apologies if I missed that. But it's Goran who leads this race from Dominic. Vapor had a look at around the outside of turn 1. Didn't look like there was a move there. Whitson in 4th ahead of Greenwell Army. Whitson just not too far back. Dominic really is looking strong in pace at the moment, it must be said. and really is pushing that AlphaTauri. Aaron is not having their way like they have in the previous two restarts, but crucially is still in the lead of this race. This is where Dominic has been really strong through this spoon section. We've got a boot. Was there a move? Might have missed it. Well, let's watch then. How close can the Alfa Romeo get? This is Ferrari power against Honda power. The answer is they're getting close. But Goran, one's a bit wide. Dominic thinking of going round the outside. Can't make that work. But Goran has gone wide. You can see Whitson and Vapor dueling. They've exchanged places. And there is Dominic then up into the lead of this race from the AlphaTauri. And Goran's lead comes to an end after such a good, strong defence. And Vapor is retired in the pits. So whatever has happened there, I think there might have been front wing damage. As we've got two spinners, Luck 14 and Nico have had a spin. I think those were separate from each other. I didn't see them close to each other, unless something did happen. But thankfully no safety car this time. Here's Michael Fierez trying to move themselves back up into this race. Victor's down in 6th. Beneficial for the championship fight for the Aston Martin driver. Fallen Monkeys in 8th as well. This is Fierez now having a look on Greenwell. Greenwell moves there. Now trying to find a way through. Fierez, remember, on soft tyres, the rest on medium tyres. So we'll have optimal grip. Greenwell, is Fierez going to try and... Oh, that's close, and that is just, I think. And Michael Fierez out of that session. I think that was a move that was never going to work. You could see the angle there wasn't good enough there. Whitson into the pits as well. That promotes their teammate up into the podium places. That's hugely disappointing for Michael Fierez. Beneficial for Victor. Victor moves up a place. All Monkeys in 6th at the moment as well. Moves up a few places as well. But Dominic has already built a 3-second gap after passing Goran. Huge shame though for Michael Fierez. Now let's watch then. Sprink having a look at Victor here. Ferrari then closing up to the championship leader, who at the moment is looking to gain significant ground in the championship. Although Fallen Monkeys actually isn't that far back, actually, in 6th place. Victor will be looking to try and catch the top 3, maybe. Should mention Dominic's 5-second. Apologies, had to sneeze there. That 5-second time penalty that Dominic does have. We'll need to build that gap up a little bit more in these final 6 laps. This is the closest battle on the field at the moment. Dominic having really strong pace out in front. Goran Holt is keeping hold of that 2nd place. Got a yellow flag, and I think someone's had a moment in the S's. Looks like I think a Haas of Philip Marshall maybe. And Victor's now in DRS range of Greenwell Army. Victor's had a pretty adventurous race so far. Disqualified from the formation lap after getting pole position. Dropped right down the order at the start. Now fighting their way up for a podium. Sprinks looks like they have the pace at the moment. And that gap out in front for Demoniac. They're not worried. They won't worry too much about that penalty at the end of the day after that. That was Whitson getting ahead of Philip Marshall for 9th place. Problem for Sprink is Victor will now have DRS thanks to the Williams ahead. That will limit Sprink's overtaking abilities. Very close to Greenwell Army, who doesn't have DRS at the moment. And someone's had a moment. That's Luck 14. Almost takes out the advertising board there. But Luck down the field. Whitson sets the fastest lap of this race. Got 11 cars left. Meanwhile, the other Haas is pitting. And look at this. This is Sprinks now really close to the back of Victor. Can't find a way through at the moment. As Goran has dropped back a little bit as well. Doesn't look like there's anything that's happened. I think that's just been the field catching. So Goran's got 3 cars to keep behind. And 3 very fast cars at that. Here is Sprink then. Trying to make a move. What's happened here? And that is Nico out of this session as well. Looked like they were struggling. They might have hit the grass, and then that might have just spun them off. We'll get another safety car from that, maybe. But that means now, if all drivers finish, they will all score points. Greenwell Army then needs a bit more, would like at least 100 more metres before turn 1 to try and have a move on the Alpha Tauri. I must admit, Goran's doing a phenomenal job at the moment. Fallen Monkeys gets a 3-second time penalty. That looks like, I think, another Haas having a moment. That would have been Luck again. Luck struggling through the S's, it seems. Goran's doing a phenomenal job keeping these 4 cars behind. We've got another Victor with the S's, and that looks like Whitson. Yes, is catching so many drivers out this weekend. But meanwhile, Demoniac is 8 seconds clear out in front. 5-second time penalty. Is it going to make much of a difference here? Now, will any of them make a move? Sprink is trying to, probably is the closest. Looks quick through there. Is Sprink going to go for a move? Yes, they are. And just, no, doesn't, and spins as well for good measure. I think that was just very unlucky. It was a bold attempt by Sprink, but ultimately that looked like it was going to end in tears. So that's 1 car out of that quadruple. 3 cars left. Fallen Monkeys now up into 5th place as well. So this is actually benefiting the Red Bull driver with a damage limitation. Fallen Monkeys doing a great job after starting at the back of the field, moving up into 5th place. Got 3 laps to go. It will look like a convincing win for the Alfa Romeo out in front. But these 3 podium places, or the final 2 podium places, still yet to be determined between these 3. Whitson does pit. We'll try and get the fastest lap point. All it takes for these 3 is just one little mistake. Suddenly, they could be in trouble. As down the inside goes Greenwell Army. And I think just about makes that move stick. And that's a good move there. But Goran is not going to give this one up yet. And I don't think Goran has DRS to fight that one back. Now the question is, can Victor capitalise here? That was a super move there from Greenwell. Just about kept it on the track. It was a late move. It was a late lunge, but Goran respectfully gave the space there. That's good driving from both of them. But Greenwell up into second place. And now Victor will try and do the same. Meanwhile, Dominic is so comfortable out in front at the moment. It must be said, 10.5 seconds. As I think that is Sprink, who has just had a moment. And once again in the S's, so many mistakes are being made in that S section. It's easily done, but they are incredibly costly. We've lost 9 drivers from this session. As interestingly there, Greenwell just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Now Goran's second place might still be up for grabs here if time penalties are a thing, which they will be. That also might compromise Greenwell from even finishing on the podium, because Victor's in that 3-second window as well. So Victor on course for a podium at the moment, which will be hugely beneficial to extend that championship lead just a little bit further. But we are on the final lap of this race. Goran's got one more lap to defend against the Alpine. And that is lap 14 on the final lap. Crashes out. Didn't need to do that. They just need to keep it on the track. But that's a points finish gone for the Haas driver. And Victor just casually biding their time. Then hasn't probably got this and also the back straight to go. I think Victor might run out of opportunities here. Meanwhile, for Dominic, it's been, well, ever since they've taken the lead, they've looked phenomenal. The pace has been incredibly strong. And a phenomenal effort there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Dominic crosses the line to win the Japanese Grand Prix in style. That 5-second penalty will not matter at all. Victor couldn't get ahead of Goran. Greenwell's 3-second penalty at the end will cost them, as Goran takes second place. Victor takes the final podium place. Greenwell drops to 4th. Fallen Monkeys will cross the line to finish 5th, ahead of RPM Westy, who's had must be said, a very chaotic race, but a 6th place despite all that is a phenomenal achievement. As they round the final chicane, and a 6th place will go to the Alpha Tauri driver. Good effort from them. Sprinks will finish in 6th place, ahead of Philip Marshall and ahead of Whitson. 9 cars finishing this race, but class of the field was ISRL Dominic. Looked absolutely almost untouchable since they took the lead of this race. Special well done as well to Goran as well. Phenomenal effort for 2nd place. Victor as well, after having a bit of a crazy opening, deserved that podium as well, and extends their lead at the top of the championship. And also to Fallen Monkeys as well, who gets driver of the day, starting from the back of the grid to finish in 5th place, mitigating the damage as much as possible. But no one really today had the pace that ISRL Dominic had. I think that's their first Grand Prix victory, unless I'm mistaken. All right, then. Let's go through the finishing order then. So, as mentioned, Dominiak winning this race from Goran in second. Victor, P3. Fallen Monkeys, well, it says P4, but that will be... well, actually, Fallen Monkeys ahead of Greenwell Army, interestingly enough. So, I thought it was the other way around. We'll see. Westy, P6, sorry. Philip Marshall, P7. Whitson, P8. Sprink, P9. Those are the 9 finishers. Whitson did get the fastest up at the end, so extra points for them. We lost from this session. We lost, well, Luck 14. We lost Nico. We lost Michael Furious, Savapor, Maverick, Hartman, Oilcan, Sinful, Wild Dog, and Spritzy, all out of this session. So that is it for this week. A good week for Victor, who extends the lead in the championship. But we will see how it all plays out in the next race. But we will see what happens. Crazy race. We had majority of safety car laps than anything. But yeah, we will see how it all plays out for the next race. Thank you very much as always for your time. We will see you again next week. Take care.